not organized today. So I apologize in advance for this. I'm going to try to get this going as fast as I can. And we're going to start by dicing up some bacon. We're going to get that going in a pan here in just a second, because we need to render that bacon for our topping. And I was gone most of the morning. No regrets. Someone I've known online for over a decade was near where I live. And so we got together for some coffee this morning. And that coffee chat ended up going for several hours. And they were about an hour away. So I hit rain on the way back, slowed it down a little bit. And so now I'm getting everything together. But we're going to do our best to get it done in an hour, hour and 15 like we normally do. We'll just see how we do. So I have pre-cooked some of it, but this was one of the things I was hoping to have pre-cooked and didn't quite get to it. I'm going to grab a tissue because I think I'm about to sneeze. So, and if not, oh my. Okay. Is this what you're looking for? Okay, sorry about that. IT guy needs his water, man. So I appreciate the fact that he's not getting a new cup. It fills up the dishwasher very quickly. So we are, like I said, chopping up this bacon because we're going to want that nice and diced and rendered and all that good stuff. And we'll work on that. I'll rinse all this stuff off. So the thing about rendering bacon, and normally I would do this in a frying pan, but again, trying not to make too many dishes, to be honest, because sometimes the cleanup after this is borderline nightmarish, to be honest. So we're going to toss all that bacon in this pan. And then there we go. And then we're going to turn that on at a medium heat and let that start rendering down. In the meantime, I'm going to get a little sip. I'm going to give you a little hint about tomorrow. Ta-da! Anybody know what that is? If you do, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to take some marinade. It is gluten-free. It is 32% less sodium, so yeehaw for that. And I like things to marinate overnight if I can. And this is frozen solid. Oh, this is actually nice. This is much thicker than I thought it was going to be. So that's great. So I'm going to pour some down the middle there. Use about half the bottle to coat that. Now, I will put this in my fridge. There's two things when I marinate. Unless I'm marinating in something flat, I'm going to marinate something like this. It's going in a bowl. Actually, I think what I'll do so that this will be in the, is it Arusa? Hello. We're marinating tomorrow night's flank steak, or tomorrow afternoon's flank steak. So we're going to pop that in a bowl, because that way if the bag has a leak in it, it's not going to be all over my fridge. Guess how I figured that out? Because we've done it before, yes. And it has leaked all over my fridge, and it was a hot mess. So we'll just kind of turn this every few hours, and if by morning it'll be thawed, and I'll squish it around a few times before we cook tomorrow. And then when IT guy comes back, we'll have him pop that in the fridge for us. So just that quick. I'm going to turn it down a little bit more. The bacon is starting to sizzle a bit, so we'll keep rendering that out. That will be part of our topping on our soup. You don't have to use the bacon if you're, not into it. This can be easily made vegetarian by leaving out the bacon. There are substitutions you can make if you wanted to make it vegan. It'll just be a very different dish. So put that over there so IT guy can put that away for me as well. And while that is doing its thing, I'm going to start doing some more of my thing. Part of which is, and I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm going to chop up some celery. See if I can't move this out of the way a little bit. I've got my tools right there, so that makes it a little more difficult. So, but you know what? I can move all this stuff. Hang on. I'm going to show you some stuff in a little bit. But for now, I can move that stuff in a very small space here. So, move this over. Move this stuff over here. All right, now you should be able to see. Woohoo! Okay. Grab another knife. We are going to make some celery. Off the ends there. So, we're going to start making, this is for our mirepoix for our soup. And I like my soup with a little bit of texture to it, so I don't always make all of the vegetables super small. I want them a little bit smaller because of how we're going to plate this, but in the fridge, please, yes. So, I'm going to do a quick chop on those. Now, when I make broccoli soup, I always add cheddar cheese to it. Sometimes I add ham, sometimes I add bacon. Today, we're just going with the cheese because we're going to have the bacon in the topping for the potato. But when this is done rendering, and the bacon is done rendering, we're going to go ahead and cook we may not keep it all in there, but with the grease, rather than using olive oil, which is what I would normally do, I'll just leave some of that in there, reuse that. So keep that moving around so it renders out. It'll also leave a nice fond in the bottom there, so that'll add some flavor to the soup. So I am going to grab a plastic bowl, and we're going to put the celery in there. And then because I didn't want to take the time, honestly, to chop up some carrots, I bought shredded ones, and we'll use those. And I will pop those in there. Ta-da! A lot faster than chopping up some carrots, that's for sure. And carrots hold their integrity, where some of the other veggies don't as well. Those do. And then I am going to chop up an onion. it's interesting how many people, look, here's the deal. If you don't want to chop an onion, don't. Go ahead and you can buy pre-chopped onions. You can use dried onions. Whatever fits your lifestyle. You know, there's a whole lot more cooks out there that I love that about them, that were like, you know what, do what works for you. I love Liam, if you follow him, Liam Layton, the Plant Slant. He talks about that. Who else? The Barefoot Neighbor talks about that. There's other people that I've thought that I don't follow quite as closely as I have those two, but we all just kind of have the same philosophy of we want to give you some ideas. So, Forgotten Sorrows, I love that. I don't have tears. One of the things I do that I learned a long time ago, if you leave this part on, a lot fewer tears. Now, red onions get me every time. What are they called? Come on, brain, let's go. Shallots. That's the word I wanted. I was going to reach and grab one, but shallots. Woo, those make me cry. And onions are one of those things that if they're not cooked, they can take over a dish for me. So like Greek salad, love a Greek salad. I don't like it if it's got the red onion in there because it's all I can taste. So everybody talks about that being a mild onion, but any raw onion's kind of like that for me. Scallions I can deal with, but the rest, like I can't eat pita, for obvious reasons because I'm gluten free. But when I get like all right, my brain is just not processing today. But when I get a Euro salad, which I love a Euro salad, I always ask them if they can saute the onions for me. And then it's one of my favorite salads ever. So, but the other thing is I realize that the faster you get at cutting, the less time you have to have the allicin that it has in it make you tearful. So that's kind of nice too. Okay. I'll turn this down just another tad. It's doing its thing, but I don't want it to burn either. So. So anyway, I'm not as fast as a chef, but I'm pretty quick. So I don't worry about it too much. I enjoy cooking, so it's not exactly. These are Vidalias. So, but even sweet onions raw just same thing with green peppers. I don't put green peppers in anything because that's all I taste. So I have a very sensitive palate that way. And I know that some people don't. I also can eat very little heat. So maybe that's why, because I've never really developed that toughness, if you will. So I don't even put jalapenos in my food generally. So I can do poblanos if they're cooked. But my husband makes a habanero salsa that I won't even go near. And everyone says it's wonderful. And my son and my husband make a version of my chili with habaneros in it. And again, I won't go near it. Okay. Since this was just used on veggies, I'm going to wipe it because I'm going to need to use this again. So the bacon is getting to where it's doing its thing. Again, I had hoped to have this all done before we started today, but it didn't happen. So next up, I'm going to put these to the side. We'll get to them as soon as the bacon is done. But I did pre-make these. I made these in my crock pot. So we're gonna give those a slice. And these will become our bowls. So that's pretty cool. I saw this online. I saw this idea online, and I was like, oh, I think I'll try that. It'll make for a fun dinner tonight. I don't know if we'll do it again, but it's always nice to try new things. Keeps hi Victoria. Keeps things interesting when you switch it up. Plus, my family are not thrilled to have soup for dinner most nights. Just soup. We need to have something with it. So this is a way to kind of fulfill that. And then I'm going to grab a bowl. Get up there. And you know what? I don't want to get my hands all dirty, so I am going to grab another glove. And a spoon. I think that one will work. All right, let's see if we can make some bowls here. So here we go. So I did these in the crock pot on low for about somewhere between 4 and 5 hours. They say 4 to 6 on high or 8 to 10 on low. It only took mine 5 on low, and these are big potatoes. So it's similar to a twice baked, but we're actually going to fill the bowl of it, if you will. We're going to put soup in here. We're going to put a lovely topping on it. So it'll kind of be like a twice baked, but just a different version of it. So we're going to make ourselves some broccoli cheddar soup today. And that's what we're going to fill these little yummies with. And then we're going to put a topping on top. Right now I've got some bacon rendering here, nice and slow, which again, I'd hoped to have done, but I got to go meet a friend, somebody that I've known online for over a decade. And she was visiting relatives not far from me, about an hour. So we got together. We got together for a brunch this morning, or, you know, we were just going to have a chat, and that chat turned into about 3 hours. So no regrets. Just means I have a little more to do on camera than I would have typically. I would have typically done some of this in advance. Like, I would have mostly cleaned out these baked potatoes and then left. Yeah, we're going to put this part goes in the trash because, ew, got a big old brown spot in it. So we're not going to do that. But we want to leave enough in there that the soup's, it's got enough integrity to hold the soup. So I'm going to give this guy a stir. Ah, okay. Got to turn it down even more. Ow! I just got slashed. That wasn't fun. So, okay. And then we'll finish these up real quick. Probably could have gone a little bit longer, but I didn't want to. I was concerned about overcooking it. Behave yourself. The bacon just popped. missed my arm by a whisker. But, okay. I've got extra mashed potatoes. Yesterday was Father's Day, so I made mashed potatoes for dinner. So I have some of the leftovers from that if I need it as filler. I don't think I will, but all right, it's more of that. It's the other side of that one that had a brown spot. So we'll get that out of there. Found some really nice big russets, so that was good. And I don't know how it is around you, but is it Brigitte? Brigitte? I don't know. But anyway, yes, I do love to make some soup. I actually, a friend of mine, yikes, I flipped some potato over there. A friend of mine, her husband called me the soup whisperer. I was like, that is like the nicest compliment. It's like, you really make great soup. Thank you. So most of them, I try to make it as simple as I can because who's got time for that, right? For long, complicated soups. And actually, I'm thinking about in September, we're looking at doing a whole month of soups. So soups and stews. Because I think if I served soup every day to my family, they'd have a riot. But if I do, if I mix in some stews there where it's a little more hearty, if you will, I think we'll be okay. I found another brown spot. See ya. Okay. So this one could be tricky because the end came off. But we'll see. And we don't have to make, I made an extra potato for that very reason. There's 3 of us. So if one of them doesn't work very well, then plus the truth is my family would be just as happy to put it all in a big bowl. I'm just doing this for fun. So to see if we can. So yep, especially I know September is still really hot for a lot of people, but just in case it's not, I am someone who deals with seasonal depression and had no idea about that. Never even knew what it was until about 10 years ago, maybe a little more. And it was so funny when I learned about it. I actually started laughing because I said, this explains a lot. And somebody said, what do you mean? And I said, even before I knew what this was, when I was single, before I had kids, and you got to worry about school and stuff like that, I always would take a vacation. I would say I would go visit the sun. So I would go to where it was warm and sunny every year in October and February. That's when I would vacation, not during the summer where a lot of other people do. So I went in the fall and in the middle of winter when, if you're from where I am, in the middle of winter, in the month of February, we're lucky to see the sun maybe even half the days of the year or of the month. Ooh, yum, cauliflower soup. That sounds wonderful. Okay, so those are scooped out. We're going to set those aside. Stir up our bacon a little more. It's just about rendered. And then we'll drain that. Yummy. Okay. One thing I did forget today. Forgot to turn on my fan, which keeps me from getting all yucky and sweaty. So, oh, that is a good question. Why does jasmine rice make me feel so sick and full, even if it's gluten-free? I have a question. Number 1, do you wash your rice? That's important because there can be cross-contamination from other grains that can make you feel sick. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I do better when I don't eat grain at all. Now, what's really interesting is when you go down that rabbit hole, which is an interesting one, what you're going to find is that there are things that are not grains. And you're like, why do some things work and some things don't? Like tapioca is not a grain. Tapioca is a starch. Amaranth and there's another one. They're called pseudo cereals. Oh, quinoa. They're pseudo cereals. So a lot of people who have problems with gluten can eat quinoa and they can eat amaranth or millet because they're actually not even grains. They're seeds. So, yeah, the sick part, the full part I get because it's such an expansive kind of thing. But the sick part is the part that concerns me more than anything because if you're gluten sensitive, um, and like I said, this is kind of a thing for me. Last week I was making a lot of things that were made with like gluten-free flours, and I was feeling like garbage. And I told everybody, I'm like, guys, I'm gonna have to back off of doing this stuff all the time because it's really starting to affect my health. I just didn't feel good. I was very lethargic all week. I'm like, this is not fun. We don't want to do this anymore. Um, so we had to kind of step back from doing that. Let's see here. Okay. Will that one fit in there? Not. I'll use this one. The advantage of being right here. Interesting that you can eat the udon and have that not be a problem for you. I think that's great. You eat the buckwheat udon noodles? Is that what I'm guessing? So, okay, I want you guys to see something because sometimes people get upset about things. That is not a problem. I'll be honest with you. It really isn't. I'm actually going to take, I'm not going to put this back on the heat yet, but I'm going to sit that over there. Well, actually, that's all going to go right in there. So I'm going to sit that there for a second. I'm just going to take about 2 tablespoons. I don't want too much, just enough to kind of be on the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to heat that back up. I'm going to save this in case I need it for something else. And this, I'm going to scrape the rest of the bacon out into the potatoes. Into the dishwater it goes. All right, now, I'm going to scrape this up a little bit because that'll get some lovely bacon flavor into the soup. And I want that today. So, all right, I am going to turn this back up to about medium. And I'm going to toss in my my carrots and my celery. And yes, I forget to say that all the time. If you guys are enjoying this, if there's something you want me to make, please subscribe and maybe I'll make it in the future for you. I try to put my notifications for the live recipes. I'm also putting in my onion. I know this is kind of off camera for you guys. But we're going to get that started. The good old mirepoix, and that will help also bring up some of that stuff off the bottom as it cooks. So while that gets started, I'm going to stir in my bacon. And then, all right, y'all, I got this from Costco this weekend. It was about 20 bucks. So this is a chopper. You can use it with this guy. I'll pull this off real quick. don't want to hurt myself. So, okay, this went on really easily and came off. There we go. Well, hi, Kathy from Canada. Welcome in. Hi, BJ. Welcome in. Okay, so I got this thing from Costco. You can use this, and you can use it as an alligator chopper. And it comes with a large dice, a small dice, and a slicer. This is like for soft foods like mushrooms and eggs and strawberries. And then it also came with a set of slicing blades. This is their small grater, which I like. They've got a thin slicer. I don't know if you can see how thin that is, but a very thin slicer, and then something to julienne with. And this is like to grate hard cheeses, so like a Parmesan, where you would get that lovely grated bit. And you can use, it's got the guard for that. And so this replaced my alligator chopper and my mandolin. So I got space back in my cabinet. I don't know anybody who doesn't want more space. And then it also came with a spiralizer, which is it's really cute, the spiralizer. So I'm not going to be, don't tell, I'm not using the guard right now. But I'm far from needing it. So I'm going to see how well it does. This is the first time I've ever used it. It's all been washed. It's all clean, just so you know. But I've got some Irish cheese in here. Give my veggies a stir real quick as they're softening up. I'm going to add just a little more of that bacon grease in there. So just about a tablespoon because it's starting to dry out. My mandolin is old. I've had that thing probably 20 years, so it probably is kind of dull. The alligator chopper still does the job, but like I said, when I could get something that did both of them, I was all in. And Costco is one of my favorite places, so. And like I said, 20 bucks for both. You know, to replace both those things, I was like, that, count me in. So. And then what I love about this, a lot of alligator choppers, this is connected. This pulls out. So I really like that. So anyway, and you can see how much is in there. That's another nice feature of it. So I am not an affiliate for Costco, just so you know. Just in case somebody comes back and goes, she's doing ads. I'm not. Really, I'm not. So I just love that store. So is it Sambo? Is that how you pronounce it? If it is, welcome in. If not, correct me, let me know, and I will do better. So, okay, since I have some people that I know are from outside the United States, are we World Cup people? Are people watching the World Cup? I know not everybody does, but, and I'm a weirdo American that does watch it. Have since 2008. So, and in my country, things are happening, and it's just a lovely thing to see. So I'm going to add a little milk to this to kind of smooth it out. I might have to get my my handy dandy mixer out. We'll see here. But some of that bacon flavor is just going right into these beautiful. And look, if you're doing this by yourself, you don't have to do it like this. You can do all this stuff. Like, had I been doing this by myself and not on camera, I would have made the potatoes ahead of time so that they were all whipped and ready to go and mushed up and gorgeousness. And then, and if you wanted to put some butter in here, some nice melted butter, give it that buttery flavor, you could do that as well. Depends on how much, you know, what are your goals? I said this in the beginning. I am here to say, when I was chopping the onion, if you don't want to chop the onion, use dried, use pre-cut, do whatever you want. I'm here to just make some good food that we can all share, like we can all share in making good food. And if you don't like something, unless it's the main part of the dish, leave it out. Like I said, I have bacon in this. If you don't like bacon or you prefer not to eat meat, you can leave that out. I have cheese in here. You could probably use vegan cheese. Making this vegan would be a little more difficult. I mean, there are steps to do it, and I'm sure if you are vegan, you know those steps. Well, not everything right now, I can tell you that, Sally. But when it comes to dinner time, I am the mother of 3 grown children. Okay, I had 3 boys, and 2 of my boys were athletes. One, when he got to high school, switched over to marching band. And I will fight anybody who says that marching band is not a sport. They put those poor kids through their paces, man. You go to a 12-hour band camp and tell me it's not a sport. Those kids work their butts off. So my kids would come home and we always, we would eat, then they would go to like a game or whatever, and then they would come home and they would eat again. So when I was making second dinner, and the thing was, they were old enough that they could have done it, but they also had homework and they also had, they worked. So, and I was home. I didn't work outside the house. So yeah, I love it. British Columbia, Canada. That's on the bucket list. That is definitely one of my bucket list. I really want to go to places. I have heard nothing but wonderful things about British Columbia and how it looks. And it's just like somebody said, you can have the mountains, you can have the beach, you can go hiking, you can hang out. I really, really want to see it. And I have a cousin that lives in Seattle, so I'm hoping to get to see him in the next couple of years, and then maybe jump up to Vancouver at that point. So anyway, now, chicken stock, all depends on how. You could also use vegetable stock if you want. I'm going to start with about 2 cups. And we're going to see how we get. And then I'm going to put my broccoli in. I'll probably put more in as soon as I get the broccoli in there. So I love it. Canucks are meeting each other on my feed. That's awesome. Anyway, so again, when we were talking about easy, chop broccoli, because I don't want to chop up the broccoli today. So we're going to pop that in there. And that is, that's a 12-ounce bag of broccoli. So, that was very wet because it was just thawing. It's not completely thawed. It was just sitting out while I was getting ready. So I am definitely going to add more. You want to cover your veggies. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end up probably using, this is 32 ounces, so I'm probably using around 3 cups, maybe a little less than that. So, all right. So we've got that in there. Now that I'm going to turn that up, get that boiling so it cooks the veggies for us. I like that. That's why they call it beautiful BC. I believe that. Like I said, everything I've heard about it is that it's absolutely gorgeous. So now I'm going to have to shred some more cheese because we need the cheese for the soup. I've got my stuff with the potatoes. So I'll work that in after the veggies get there. Turning it all the way up. Shh, don't tell anybody. So my thing is, with Canada. What scares me about Canada, and the thing is, I'm in Ohio. Okay, so if you know anything about Ohio, and um, it is 400 miles from my city to Cleveland, which is right on Lake Erie. And the other side of Lake Erie is Canada. So we're not that far off of you guys, but it's amazing how different 400 miles can be where weather is concerned. And I am not a fan of winter. So that is, as I said, I deal with seasonal depression. So nice. But I also hear Vancouver. Does Vancouver have? They have mild winters, right? From what I understand, or am I wrong about that? Because I could be misinformed. Okay. And if anybody else is feeling left out, tell me where else you're from. So, like I said, I'm from Ohio, born and raised here. I love to travel. I love to come home. So, I have been to 48 states, all the ones that are connected. I have to leave the mainland to get to the other two. So, but I also have a son who lives in California, so that's not an undoable thing. Just not right now. So, is the wow because I've been to all 48 states, Carrie? I know it's an unusual thing, but my parents, my father in particular, loved to travel. Jamaica, nice. I love the Caribbean. Have not been to Jamaica, but I have been to the Caribbean. Been to the Bahamas. And I have friends that go to Aruba who love Aruba. And I have friends that go to Costa Rica. So, yes, these are all bucket list places. So, Virginia Beach, nice. I have a friend in Virginia Beach too. So, are you with the military if you're in Virginia Beach? So, Ruby, oh my gosh, everybody's been worried about you. I'm so glad to see you. Christy and Joan, we were all worried about you because you got off for the weather, and then we never heard if you were okay. And there were tornadoes. I mean, they were south of me, so I didn't know what was north in Indiana. So I'm so glad you're okay. So, oh goodness. But yeah, Maine. Ooh, gosh, that's a winter state. And I think when you're on on the East Coast, that has a big to do with. Oh, please don't be sorry. We're just. I know everyone will be delighted that you're good. So we're just worried. So, which happens, and that's how I found out I can't contact anybody. So I probably should start talking more about my email list and inviting people to that, so that if we do have to contact each other some way, somehow. Oh, I bet. It's for those of you who don't know, the Midwest of the United States. Um, I saw, and this is, you've never dealt with a tornado, you may think this is odd, but yeah. Where did I miss that? 100 years old. Wow, that's amazing. Um, the Midwest in the United States had a lot of tornadoes about middle of last week. Where I live, there were 5 tornadoes. The weird thing about tornadoes is there were 5 of them within 30 miles of me, didn't come anywhere near me. So, anyway, so that's the situation. So I got these veggies are getting there. I've got it turned up all the way, so they'll get soft here in a minute. This will be the cheese that I'll put in there, and then I'm going to wait before I put this in to make sure I have enough cheese for the soup. But as soon as we've got the soup where we need it to be, and we're going to need it kind of thickened up. And okay, so here's the thing. Also, if you're gluten-free, Ontario, California. My dad used to live there actually when he was a kid. He lived there for about, I want to say, about 6 months. So his dad used to, and I don't know if there's still one there, but his father used to open Procter & Gamble plants. He was an engineer that helped do that. And so they would live somewhere for 6 months and then move. So, and then, and I think my daughter-in-law's father is currently living in Ontario as well, working for a company. So, and he likes it. He really likes it out there. So, okay. Well, there you go. Follow your kids and no more snowstorms. Gotta love that. So, my friend who lives there, her husband is military. He's at Norfolk. So, but she likes Virginia Beach. So that's where they live. Um, wow, Carrie, that's something. So we are getting there. I'm going to add some more of this chicken stock because it is boiling away. And again, like I said, if you don't want to use chicken stock, you can use vegetable stock. So now I got to see if this is good enough. So holy cow, Carrie, that's a lot to deal with. God love ya. Okay, this is when I'm gonna let me teach you something. If you know anything about the American South, and I'm across the river from what we consider the South, believe it or not, um, there are two kinds of bless your heart in this in our vernacular, especially when it comes from the South. There's the bless your heart that, as someone said, it's John, bless his heart, he's an idiot. Okay, there's that kind of bless your heart. But then there's the I don't have words for what you just told me, and it's just something that I just feel like I need to say something. So we say bless your heart, and it's the latter of the two. So bless your heart for that one, Carrie. That's a lot to carry. Sorry, was not meant that way, but um, I think that's fantastic, Carrie. It's the best way to do it if you can. So, all right, now I'm going to see if I did this well enough. We're going to find out. I don't need this for a while that stuff's cooking, but in the meantime, y'all, popping bags are the coolest things, I'm telling you. I see, I told you. Thank you, Christy. I hacked at it myself this weekend because it was driving me crazy. Okay, that's going to work. All right. So I told her we were all worried about her. And I tried to contact her this weekend, but apparently I can't contact even subscribers. So anyway, so I will need to start telling you guys, probably resurrect my email list and start doing stuff like that. So I'm going to fill this for right now. And we're going to set that aside. And I do believe I'm going to get a spoon out and try some, see if the broccoli is. I don't want to serve my family crunchy broccoli. I will never hear the end of it. So they'll be like, were you in a hurry? Oh, that's good. By the way, if you're new here, this is kind of how things go, right? So we've got Kathy and Carrie having this wonderful conversation and support, everybody else jumping into support. And Ruby had to leave last week and we were all worried about her, and now we're glad that she's okay. And I love that. This is why I do what I do. This is what I've always wanted to do, is to make those kind of connections with people, because I think it's a really important thing to do, to be honest. I really do. I think we're more alike than different. And I think the World Cup, that's why I asked if anybody's watching the World Cup, because it's doing that, you know? I think the Tartan Army has forever changed Boston, which I find hilarious. Boston being Boston. And I was going to say, being gluten-free, you can thicken with a roux that you make out of gluten-free flour. I use that for gravy. But when I make a lot of my soups that I thicken up, now some I will use a roux, but most of my thicker soups, I use mashed potatoes. So, yay, a fellow FIFA fan. I don't watch a lot of like, I watch all the tournaments. Does that make sense? I just, now my sons they're Premier League and Bundesliga fans. So for anybody who doesn't know what that is, those are two of the more prominent, for those here in the United States, soccer leagues. Oh, the dogs are going to be so happy about that one. I just dropped some mashed potatoes. So, and these are just leftover mashed potatoes from last night. So those will thicken up the soup nicely. But yeah, what's going on, and I've talked about this before, but since we've got a lot of new people, Lawrence, Kansas is where the University of Kansas is, and it's not a huge town, and it's where Algeria decided to have their practice field, because they have 2 games at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, and it's far enough away that they're not in the city, and it's close enough that they can get there pretty quickly. And suddenly, they hadn't been here very long when they started seeing their flag in the shops in town, and they started seeing their jerseys on the people of the town. And so they were a little confused, but what really confused them was they sent 100 band members from the University of Kansas to play their national anthem for them on their first day of practice. So this town of Lawrence, Kansas has basically just adopted this team from Algeria. And they interviewed this guy who was probably 10, 15 years older than me. So he'd been around a while. And they said to him, "What do you know about Algeria?" And he goes, "Not much yet, but I'm really glad they chose our town." So they've got like this wonderful little thing going. And then the players, to thank the city for what they've done, they made they did a day where all the kids could come in, and they did a free clinic for all the kids, soccer clinic. And there was one kid that said, "If I don't do anything else in my life, I can say that I got trained by a World Cup athlete." So that, it just goes to show, all this stuff where we're taught to hate each other and be angry at each other. And don't get me wrong, governments around the world are doing some really stupid stuff. I want to leave it at that. But we as human beings, I think, are more alike than we are different. And that's what I want to do here, is kind of showcase that. And I happen to do it through the medium of food. So anyway, back to happier. I mean, I think that's a happy thing anyway, but yeah, the people discovering our restaurants and free refills and free bread at Longhorn has been a treat for those of us. So yes, love it, love it, love it, love it. And just every statue. And if you don't know Boston, if you've never been to Boston, I guess it's a Scottish thing that they put cones on the top of their statues. And if you've never been to Boston, the number of statues in Boston is ridiculous. I think only outdone by probably Philadelphia. So they are running around putting cones on the tops of all of our statues. And hopefully, I haven't heard anybody be mad about that. And I'm glad they're not, because, it just is what it is. But it's been delightful. You know what I just did? I forgot to put the thing back in there. Oh well. Straight into the soup it goes, because I'm a dork. I got sidetracked. What can I say? So anyway, and this is why I love, as they call it, who was saying they watch FIFA with me? This is why they call it the beautiful game, right? So, people healing, people being kind to one another. Love it, love it, love it. All right, this is thickening up a bit. I'm going to turn it down so it doesn't, cheese gets weird in soup. So, well, good, because we're about to scoop it up here in a minute. I got to taste it first, though. All right, this is what I use for the, I'm imagining it's going to need some salt and pepper for sure. Okay, so here's the thing. My husband's diabetic, so we do not, oh, I forgot this. Be right back, going to get the pepper. My husband is type 1 diabetic. So this chica does not, I don't cook with much salt, because there's salt in so many things. Now my family loves pepper, so there you go. The other thing is, with cream soups, you can also put, like, I don't like spicy. I don't, if we go to a Thai restaurant and they say 1 to 5, I say 0. And I'm not kidding you. My family will vouch for that. As a matter of fact, we went out, my brother's in town, and we went out to dinner, and I ordered a pizza bowl, and you get 5 toppings on your pizza bowl. And I ordered banana peppers, and he looked at me. My brother's 4 years younger than me. And he looked at me and goes, "You're getting that?" He's like, "What happened to Zero Spice Girl?" And I'm like, "I'm still a Zero Spice Girl, but when they cook banana peppers, they're not as spicy." So, but I ended up taking half. I asked for light, and I ended up taking half of them off anyway, because, that's how it goes for me. So, I'm a big baby when it comes to that. So, all right, here we go. But I was going to say, just add a little bit of Cholula or some kind of that kind of hot sauce, just a couple of dashes. It elevates the taste without making it ridiculously spicy. I put that in, like, pea soup and potato soup and this kind of soup. I'm not going to do it today because I put extra pepper in just for that. And it's going to have plenty of flavor because of the topping we're going to put on too. So we are going to, let's hope this works. This is one of those online things you're like, is this gonna work, or is it gonna be a total flop? So this is gonna yell at me, so I'm gonna turn it off, because if it's not fully on the burner, it beeps at me. So I think, and I'd like it to be thicker, to be honest, but I think without a roux, I'm not going to get it much thicker than it is right now. So after it sits for a while, it'll probably thicken up. But for right now, we're just going to do what we can. The hardest part is going to be putting it in the oven, because we got to put it in the oven on broil for just a couple of minutes. So, is it Glenn? I don't know. If it's Glenn, hello. If it's not, correct me, and we'll fix that. So, I know what soup I'm going to be eating for the rest of the week, because I made more than I thought it was going to. But that's okay. I love soup. This one might be one I need to give away, though. I don't know if I can eat that much in a week. So that's what I do a lot with soup too, because again, my family aren't huge fans of soup. So you know what? I'm going to put a little more. I'm going to shred a little bit to put on top of each one. So, hi, Bernard. Kathy's saying hi to everybody. So, yeah, me too. Broccoli, cheese, and potatoes. How can you go wrong, right? So, okay, a little more of this. This is Dubliner cheese. It's Irish cheese. Good old Costco again. You're going to hear me say that a lot. I get a lot of things from Costco. I don't apologize for it. I like their business. I like what they do. I like how they are. I love that they still have the $1.50 hot dog, even though I can't eat it. They actually have a lot of good gluten-free food, believe it or not. They're very good about that. And there's very few things, once they get them in there, because the gluten-free people buy them like crazy, that well, you know what you usually get them in from me, believe it or not? If it's just one serving, it's usually I save when I get cottage cheese. I save all my cottage cheese containers, and I put them in there, and I share them that way. So anyway, but yeah, I always tell people, if I love you, I'll cook for you. So if I cook for you, know that you're loved by me anyway. So I have a sister-in-law that she's like, I know certain things when they just show up in my refrigerator are from you. Yeah, we don't overdo the salt. Not here. We know better, because the hubs. Now this was the part I found interesting, and I'm not sure, because there's bacon in here, if this is going to work, but it seems to be. But you put this on top. So you got potato on the bottom, soup in the middle, potato on the top. Like I said, I love a piping bag, because it does this stuff like in half the time. I'm going to make some deviled eggs next week because of picnic food. We're going to do a lot of picnic food next week. And oh, something stuck. I think it's a piece of bacon. But I will show you with my piping bag how fast you can fill deviled eggs. It's insane. It takes seconds. And when I figured that out, I'll repeat this again next week. So I apologize to anybody who hears it twice. But my father used to make deviled eggs, and it took about 3 hours. I can make them in an hour. About an hour. Now, usually I have my husband there to help me crack the eggs. There we go. Okay. I usually have him with me, but I won't have him next week, so I might put IT guy on cracking the eggs. Yeah, I needed that bacon to be a little bit finer than it is. because it's getting stuck. Rats. This was the biggest nozzle I had. So there we go. All right. There's another really weird way to do this, and I'm about to do it. So where are my scissors? They're missing. Hey, IT guy, can I have the scissors? He had them at the other end of the table. So this is what we do. Sometimes you have to punt. They're stuck. We cut it off. It's going to make it a lot fatter, but a lot faster. So I think rather than going, I got to fill it again. We were going to use the big one, and we were having problems with the nozzle for that. Now I'm kind of glad, because I wouldn't cut that one. That's a reusable one. This one can go in the trash. Come here, you. I don't need to be leaning over that far. Kind of a mess. That's okay. This is why we have water, right? So we can wash our hands. I'm going to spread some of that out. I think I'm just going to put like, it does make it easier to get it on here. It's just, again, dogs are going to be happy. All right, I'm going to scoop some of this on for this last one rather than fill up the bag again. And we're going to fire up the broiler. About 2 minutes. Like I said, I had a feeling we were going to go over today for a little bit, but it happens. Happens to the best of us. Sun's out here. It's been gross all day. So it finally got nice out. I'm going to add some to some of these other ones that were already piped because it's sinking in. Oh, goodness gracious me. Life is full of surprises, isn't it? Let me wash my hands and I'll pop them in the broiler. Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. There we go. So I do think, yeah, let's go 3. We'll keep an eye on it. I think there's a British term for this, that doing this is, it's a bit of a faff, if you will, with me. So I don't know. I can't do a bread bowl, so sometimes you just want to do something different. So, oh yeah, Christy, they're going to be in their glory. There's some potato on the floor, so they come down. They're up in IT guy's room, and they're going to come down and they will just get all that stuff. So, but I can't leave them down here because they're obnoxious when somebody's anywhere in the neighborhood, because they have to protect the neighborhood from everyone and everything, including the leaves that fall off the trees. So I'm grabbing a plate and dropping things on the floor that I will pick up real quick so the dogs don't get to that. But for those who missed the beginning, I threw some flank steak in a teriyaki marinade, gluten-free. So we're going to be giving that a try tomorrow. And we're going to roast some asparagus to go with that. And I think I had something else in mind. I'll have to look. Like I said, my brain doesn't want to work today. So I've got that, and then what's Wednesday? Oh, I can't remember what Wednesday is, but then Friday. Oh, Wednesday's the savory oats. That's what we're going to do, some savory oatmeal. And then, thank you. It's kind of a, I don't know how it looks for you guys, but it's kind of a teal color, and I think it's fun. So, um, but Wednesday is savory oats. I actually found 10 different recipes, and so I'm gonna figure out a few to try. And then Friday we're gonna make some ahi tuna. I have never seared ahi tuna myself, so at least the way I'm making it, it's gonna be similar to like how Outback does it. So, but I've never done one quite this thick. So we'll see how it turns out. My husband will be home, so I don't have to worry about the timing on that because I don't know about you, but I don't like warmed up fish. If I'm going to have fish, I want it to be exactly what it's supposed to be. I don't want it to be warmed up fish. So, and Thursday's my anniversary, so we're going out. I'm not cooking on Thursday. Woohoo! That's always a gift to me. So, hey, IT guy, do you have the tongs over on your side when you use them to get the stuff out? I don't know where he went. I don't know if he's upstairs or if he's down here. I think are they right there behind the screen? The tongs? Oh, well, maybe we put them in the dishwasher. Rats. Okay, I'll just use a glove. I think the tongs would be easier with the soup in there, but okay, so I'll use this guy. This could honestly, I'm going to put it back in there, to be honest. And when they have theirs, they can put it through a little bit longer because it's not crunchy on the top, which that's what you're going for, but I don't want you guys to have to sit here and wait for that. So I'm going to go ahead and start that back up for another few minutes. Grab my spoon here. And honestly, just from making it, possibly I might have licked my finger. It is my house and it is my family. So it might have happened. So anyway, if I was cooking in a commercial kitchen, it would be a whole different ballgame. So, but anyway, so there it is. And the thing that's nice about that is now the soup is kind of combined with so I can even eat the whole thing like that. So it's kind of like a twice bake, but it has that lovely soup in there. So we've got our broccoli, we've got our carrots, we've got our onions. Oh, Christy, me too, but I'm not going to attempt that myself because I don't know. Is it as fiddly as it looks? I don't know. I will tell you. I would definitely make the combo again, but I might just literally take the potatoes and make like a, how do I want to put that? Like put that in the bottom of a bowl and put the soup in the middle of it. I think that would be a much easier way to do this. However, I did something I've never done today, and I baked potatoes in my crock pot. And I have to tell you guys, I think that's how I'll make my baked potatoes from now on. Because, I mean, you saw the size of those potatoes. And it was about 4 to 5 hours on low in my crock pot to do that. And they came out wonderfully. So I didn't have to heat up my kitchen, all those things. So I would definitely make this again. It would just be, like I said, I think I'd adjust and just put it all in a bowl. But I'm not mad. I can tell you that. I'm just not sure it was worth all the prep to get here. But anyway, so tomorrow, flank steak, roasted asparagus, and I've got something else. I can't remember what I was going to make. So we're going to jump off for now. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all for being here. I loved the conversations today. I love how you all supported one another and how you all care about each other. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So, oh, okay. All right. I'll get it. So I'd have to get it at the butcher shop. Okay. Good to know. That is a good thing to know, Christy. Thank you so much. But anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Eat well, be well, and I love you all. See you soon.